Hey kids, this is Mr. Cozy, and I just wanted to give you a quick expansion on video 29. The thing that I really want you to notice, and this is something that we've talked about before, when we talk about solving quadratics, there's a lot of ways that things can go, and that's why quadratics has kind of been a perennially challenging topic. However, in video 29, whenever we have a situation where we have a single x and a single place and it's squared, we can solve it by taking a square root. The thing that I want you to notice is this follows the same pattern that we've seen in other topics, where we have some kind of a core skill. In this case, it is taking a square root to get an answer. X equals plus or minus 3. And then once we have that core skill, we do things to add steps, add hoops that you have to jump through on either end of that core skill. And the analogy that I want to draw for you is when we work with absolute value equations. When we work with absolute value equations, the core skill is that the absolute value works out to be either the positive or negative version of this number here. Okay, and then what happens is once you have that down, we start adding steps onto either end of this core skill. So with absolute value, maybe I'm going to add one on the outside, so that before you can do this core skill, you have to subtract one to get the absolute value alone. Okay, that's exactly the same as if over here, oh wait, baby's crying, just a second. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so over here with absolute value, I can add a step to do before that core skill. And I can do the same thing here with the quadratic. I can do something like x squared plus 1 equals 9. And like over here, you have to jump through a couple of hoops before you are able to execute that core skill and get your answer. And I believe this simplifies to plus or minus 2 radical 2. Anyway, now like absolute value, I can also put steps to do after the core skill. So with absolute value, I could put in a little equation inside, a little expression, and give you some things to do after that core skill too. So in addition to jumping through some hoops, now I can do the core skill of breaking this absolute value into two problems. And then because of this expression here, I have a few things to do after. Oops. After that core skill. So I've got to do some subtraction, and I've got to divide. Okay, it's the same kind of thing with quadratics. Okay, instead of just having plain x squared, I could have a whole expression that's being squared. Okay, now your mentality with a problem like this needs to be the same as a problem like this. Okay, you have some things that you need to do before the core skill, and then you have that core skill. And then you have some things to do after that core skill. -1, -1. 2x equals -1 plus or minus radical 7. Divided by 2, divide by 2. And here are my two answers. X equals -1 plus or minus radical 7 over 2. Okay? The thing that I want you to really take to heart is this mindset of we have this core skill, and in the case of this lesson, it's taking a square root of something squared. And on either side of that core skill, I've built in steps that you have to complete. The stuff that you have to do before the core skill, you'll see outside of the square. The things that you have to do after the skill, you'll see inside the square. So like this +1 is outside. I need to deal with it before I take a square root. This is inside. I deal with it after I take the square root. Okay? If you adopt that mindset, these problems get real easy real fast, or at least they get a lot less difficult. Now, I will say that there's only so far this can take you. As soon as we run into a problem like this, I can't adopt the core skill because I don't have a single x that is being squared. So we have to take another approach, which we'll talk about in the next video. Okay, so hopefully this helps, and email me if you have questions.